Back at it, fam, with another video. And today we are going to be discussing an interesting topic. Why do brothers prefer younger women? Believe it or not, too many people spend way too much time overanalyzing this particular subject. I think it's rather simple. And as we get to the end of the video, I'll explain why. Brothers are tired of dealing with women who want to show up at the finish line and then expect to be rewarded. But as you know, some people are going to have a problem with this. The career woman, the boss babe. Well, I've worked so hard to achieve all these different things, and why don't men want me? Like I said, stay tuned to the end of the video. But we got a brother who's going to explain it to you in this video. Now, I've said the same thing in previous videos, but for some reason, women today still don't get it. Without further ado, let's get into it.
I think younger women tend to be more impressionable. I think older women, in my experience, you 30, 33, 35, the experiences that you have at that point is just, a little bit too much for me. And I really think in some cases, you really can't teach an old dog new tricks. So I prefer, my women to be the younger variety.
If a woman wants to respect you and give you the respect to lead and be her partner, why do you need to have that level of power over her if you're not trying to manipulate someone?
See, it's not power, it's impressionable. I've never seen a successful partnership where the other person wouldn't allow themselves to be impressed upon. If I'm a person and I got a vision, I got a plan, I got a whole program, I would think that the person that wants to be with me is willing to learn and willing to adopt some of the ways or even some of the principles that I have.
That's not impressionable. Impressionable is basically getting someone to do what you want them to do because they're easily swayed and easily persuaded to do what you want them to do.
Who said that? Did you make that up?
Well,
when you hire somebody, you look for somebody that's impressionable.
But
why would I listen?
Right, so you can train them. So you can, when you hire somebody, you're about to train them.
Now,
and that's why you want them impressionable.
This is the reason why I don't have certain conversations with certain types of women, because no matter what you say, they're going to twist your words up. And when you refer to the word of impressionable, it does have easily influenced in there. But nevertheless, let's look at how she went to this negative space. And so many women out here operate from this real negative space and this fear of everything. And that's what being stuck in your ways is. You could be easily influenced based on your relationship history with men to believe that all men ain't crap. But see how they never want to accept that part. Let me give you a quick example of a woman who I recently went out on a date with not too long ago. And this woman was pretty much stuck in her ways and didn't even know it. So I go out on a date with this woman here in Metro Atlanta. The woman's around maybe 35 years old. She works in corporate media. So one of these people who have to go out at night and schmooze and go to corporate events and all that type of stuff. Am I interested? Hell no, I'm not interested. But I entertained the first date anyway. As we're sitting there conversing, she mentions that, she's achieved so much in her career. She's been to all of these different destinations and she's ready to buy a house. She looks at me and she says, "Do you think it's a good idea that I should buy a house?" I said, "Yeah, that's a great idea. You should be out here, buying houses, buying property. If you want, you've achieved certain things in your life, go for it." Do you really think I went out on a second date with this woman? Hell no. Now, I have a cousin who lives in Metro Atlanta. She's from here and she's about maybe 27 years old. She's had a roommate for like the last 5 years that I can remember. Not too long ago, she was like, "You know what? I'm thinking about buying a house." I told her, I said, "That's a terrible idea." Now, some of you are confused. Let me explain. If you've already bought your first car, you've already bought your first house, you've already been to all of these different destinations around the world due to all of your corporate achievements, there's nothing exciting about that. Being honest, I think most men find women like that boring. But with my cousin, I explained to her that there should be certain experiences that you experience with a man for the very first time. It'll mean a lot to him and it'll mean a lot to you. But no matter what you say, certain women just don't want to hear that.
I think younger women tend to be more impressionable. I think older women, in my experience, you 30, 33, 35, the experiences that you have at that point is just, a little bit too much for me. And I really think in some cases you really can't teach an old dog new tricks. So I prefer, my women to be the younger variety.
If a woman wants to respect you and give you the respect to lead and be her partner, why do you need to have that level of power over her?
All right, let's just stop the foolishness right there. See, when you converse with certain women have had experiences with men. They have unresolved trauma as far as their relationships. You don't know their relationship with their mom, or even if their father's in their life. They tend to just have these worst case scenario experiences. And believe it or not, a lot of these women have not even been in these horrible relationships to experience things firsthand. Second, you guys know how I feel about that word partner. I cannot stand that word. So let's just break this word down. If I'm in my early 40s and the year is 2023, let's say, for instance, I meet a woman tomorrow and then I date her for the next 5 years. So in 2028, we break up. Why am I calling this woman my partner when I have been alive 40 plus years and have only known this woman 5 years? Is she really my partner at that point? No, the hell she is not. She is only a woman that I used to date. When I think about the word partnership, this refers to something that has long-lasting duration, meaning 20 plus years, 30 plus years. You know how you see certain couples that have been together for like 50, 60 years? That's true partnership. So let's just knock that stuff off. I'm your man at the time. You're my woman at the time. That's all it is. And lastly, this is why I tell you guys all the time. All of these talking points that women use, they always try to act like it's not about leverage. It is always about leverage. No matter what they say out of their mouths, it is always about leverage. But I don't understand why some women go to this negative space of thinking that you need to have power and domain over them. No, I need the ability to shape you into the woman that I need you to be. And I can get that with a younger woman versus an older woman who is stuck in her ways.
If you're not trying to manipulate someone.
See, it's not power, it's impressionable. I've never seen a successful partnership where the other person wouldn't allow themselves to be impressed upon. If I'm a person and I got a vision, I got a plan, I got a whole program, I would think that the person that wants to be with me is willing to learn and willing to adopt some of the ways, or even some of the principles that I have.
That's not impressionable. Impressionable is basically getting someone to do what you want them to do because they're easily swayed and easily persuaded to do what you want them to do.
Who said that? Did you make that up?
Well,
like when you hire somebody, you look for somebody that's impressionable.
But
why would I listen?
Right, so you can train them. So you can, when you hire somebody, you're about to train them.
Now,
And that's why you want them impressionable.
So you really want to have this conversation? The answer is yes. But women tend to use this word train in a very negative space, so I stay away from it. But even in corporate America, as in relationships, it's not about training. What about using the word coaching, shaping, molding, being malleable? Why can't we use those words? But she chooses to use a word that is very negative. Let me explain. If I'm dealing with a 22-year-old woman, I like that process of being able to see the type of woman she's going to be in 10 years, 5 years. I understand that she's going to be a little bit of a knucklehead and there's going to be trials and tribulations throughout the process. But after I've put that much work in, after she's putting that much work into understanding the woman that she needs to be for me, I'm going to reward her at the end. And that process is fun to a lot of guys, believe it or not. But when you have a woman that's already set in her ways, nobody wants to deal with that. So it's not about training. It's more about shaping, molding into the woman I need her to be. But the problem is that most women don't want to learn how to please a man, spend time with the man, so that way that man can later appreciate the woman that she turned out to be. But you think you're going to rob a man of that process and show up at the finish line saying, hey, take me as I am. You could play that game all you want to, but that's a strategy that's destined to fail. Run into that wall if you want to. And you know it's undefeated. Until next time, I'm out. Fellas, never let them shame you for believing what you want to believe. So go be mad with somebody else. It's not my fault you blew your shot.